This was my favorite scene in Final Fantasy XIV, and it was somewhat similar to torture. There's a point where you think that they're done beating you, but then their lunch break ends. Which, coming into 5.3, I thought would be a problem for me, but I guess I found a new kink. So, starting with Elidibus, let's take a quick dive into why I'm now into BDSM. My initial expectation was that MS Selk was the one who mattered, and Elidibus was just a throwaway villain I wouldn't care for. However, in the course of one patch, Square Enix managed to take him from degenerate to almost tolerable. Upon meeting you for the first time in Shadowbringers, he makes no attempt to extend a friendly hand to you and sells himself off as just another Ascian. Unlike with Emmett, it is our party who attempts to extend our hand to Elidibus, using Emmett's words to attempt to bridge the gap between us. However, Elidibus responds by calling us forgetful and feeble, and Emmett a pansy and a daydreamer. Bastard. This unfriendly nature pops up again later when Y'shtola shows some level of empathy toward Elidibus and his amnesia, resulting from the confusion of eons worth of wishes and hopes he's used to fuel his primal power. Alright, here we go, villain music, boys.
Your question is irrelevant.
Elidibus completely throws away her empathy and doubles down on his current mindset, despite how it's been changing him repeatedly for eons now and he knows it, solidifying him as far superior to me because my mind would have been crushed the second I heard the wishes of a Makote player. He also has hints of self-righteousness and naivete to him, unable to see the true perspective of others. You get to see that when he calls us out for being disturbed by having to kill mere illusions of our friends, saying that he was under the impression that we simply killed anything on our way, including his Ascian friends, without a second thought. I was under the impression you simply destroyed all who barred your way. Damn. Come on. Just because I killed all of your friends or whatever because they were like inconveniencing me in any way, like, doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Come on, Elidibus. You're being a little ridiculous. This somewhat breakdown of his facade shows once again how much he hates our inability to remember the Ascian plight, which is very ironic coming from the guy who can't remember what he had for lunch. This self-righteous nature is completed by his primal instinct, making him even more narrow-minded and obsessed with the salvation of his people, and any who would interrupt such a good cause is a villain in that narrative no matter what. He remains on this path for the rest of the story, only wavering for an instant as he fails to remember who he's fighting for.
To steer mankind and the very star upon their true course. This I swore to someone.
Eventually, he decides talk is for losers and challenges us as the Warrior of Light. He doesn't have a mouth. It's kind of gross. I spent the last 11 months of my life playing through the MSQ of Final Fantasy XIV, thinking of Elidibus as just a flat villain with no nuance. And in a way, I was right, if only half so. His status as the emissary and later the primal warrior of light makes him one-track minded, in a way that is to be expected of a child who was thrust into such a position. He, relative to the other Ascians at least, had no time to discover who he was before he was the savior of an entire race and the sacrifice to become the heart of their god. Because his whole existence, his whole identity, was as the emissary of the convocation, he didn't even have the opportunity to develop a personality, which may be one reason he is so one-dimensional besides just his primal status. This honestly kind of makes his one-dimensionality beautiful in a way, but mortifying in another. Elidibus' story brings a very dark truth to light for me, and that is, in the end, who knows if you'll succeed or what success even looks like. No matter how hard you hope, no matter how hard you push, no matter how you put everything on the line, Even if you do yourself a terrible disservice and go as far as putting your whole identity into something, you could still fail. And if the heroes he's created over the eons have taught us anything, it's that there's a chance that you even succeed, that you will find a world covered in light that's just as dark as before. However, the beauty you'll find at Journey's End is that since you're not a primal, you still have a chance to be you. You can dust yourself off, pick yourself up again, and keep on trucking, even if your new destination may not be the same as your last. I hope you all realized that was only the first half of the scene, right? By the time I got through this part of the cutscene,
and that when all is said and done, I would ask a favor of you.
you can have my left testicle. It's okay, man. I don't care. Whatever you got, whatever you need to live. I was bawling. I was crying even more than the snot-nosed brat who was on death's door 2 seconds ago. Everything about this was just amazing. The music, the facial expressions, how adorable Grahatia is, everything. And I'm sad to see Graha go, but seeing my character make this face, ripped my gut out, put it on the floor, and beat the ever-living shit out of it. Yoshi, you sadistic ruffian. No one should have to see a cat girl cry like this. Why is the saddest part seeing my own face? Of course, Reen, the fucking psychopath, is laughing at this shit. The fucking psychopath Reen is. High school girls are fucking insane. He was well aware that your beloved warrior's face comboed with Graha's death would make anyone cry like a newborn baby. Wait, he's alive? What the f? I cried 4 times making this film. Please subscribe and join the Discord. Link in the description.